Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Marciello, and I'm a senior undergraduate, double concentrating in American Studies and Gender and Sexuality Studies. Broadly speaking, my research lies within queer studies, combining sociocultural history with theory and critique. More specifically, I'm interested in intersex studies, the history of sexuality, LGBTQ plus history in the United States, queer and queer of color theory and critique, trans studies, and Black queer studies. As I've gone through Brown, I have found myself increasingly interested in processes such as queering, racialization, medicalization, pathologization, sociocultural phenomena that have come to structurally define the United States and the world at large. Finding a passion for studying these racialized and queered superstructures has propelled me in a decisively academic direction. I'm delighted to say that starting this fall, I will be matriculating as a master's student in the Department of Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies at The Ohio State University. Alongside the master's, I intend on pursuing a graduate minor in African American and African Studies. After my MA, I aim to pursue a PhD in American Studies and remaining within the academic sphere. So what about my thesis? My thesis, which I am completing through American Studies, is titled From Hermaphrodites with Attitude to #End Intersex Surgery, Intersex Activism, Resistance, and Critique of Intersex Genital Surgery. The inspiration for this thesis project came during my first year at Brown, when I read intersex activist Pigeon Pagonis's article, First Do Harm, in which they detail their traumatic past of intersex surgeries performed by doctors who have, quote, discarded tenets of the Hippocratic Oath. To be clear, when I say intersex, I'm referring to the 1.7% of the population who is not strictly 100% male or female at birth in terms of biological sex. Intersex studies scholars regard biological sex as a socially constructed category of human difference that can be understood as an amalgamation of 5, and sometimes 6, components, including genitalia, gonads, internal reproductive organs, hormones, chromosomes, and sometimes also secondary sex characteristics. Many of those whose biological sex does not perfectly fit into the box of male or female are subjected to non-consensual, medically unnecessary, cosmetic, and physically and psychologically damaging intersex surgeries and other intersex-related medical procedures to normalize them. In my thesis's analysis of United States intersex activist history, from the 1990s beginnings of the intersex movement through present-day intersex activism that harnesses the power of social media and the hashtag, I explore intersex people, their brilliantly deconstructive critiques of intersex medicalization, and their vibrant articulations of intersex identity politics. I demonstrate that despite the harm intersex people have faced at the hands of medical professionals, intersex people through activism have been able to resist and critique the practice of intersex genital surgery and the broader systems of medicalization that sustain these surgeries. I concurrently consider how these systems of medicalization, in the case of intersexuality and otherwise, are saturated with racial and racialized meaning. Beyond this thesis project, I aim to continue reading, writing, and teaching about marginalized populations, especially the LGBTQIA+ community. I myself am not intersex, but I am in fact gay, queer, and non-binary, and I hope to draw from my own personal sense of self and my ever-growing sense of academic clout that comes along with earning a BA, then an MA, and then a PhD, to fight for the communities that I'm a part of and that I stand in allyship and solidarity with. Thank you so much.